Yeah, we're gonna do best map. Because if you don't like mountain crossing, you're crazy. It's like the best map out of the old pool. Like the Celeste maps are all really good too, and they're about as good as it. But like compared to all the other old maps, like oh, you'd be crazy to pass up NX. Honest. So I'm just waiting for everyone to connect now. So, spawning on the left side of the map, we have Happysmurf as the red Egyptian player, and Crimsoncantab as the blue Greek player. And on the right side of the map, we have Verhuver as the yellow Greek player, and SystemGlitch as the purple Egyptian player. So we've actually ended up with a mirror team matchup. And right now it looks like Crimson's taking an early dock. And so is Happy. And System's actually taken a hunt right up on the north side, so there's really only this slim passage to actually get to the backside of that for them. Meanwhile, for Verhuver, you've actually sort of got to sneak past his TC. So, to the front, hunt being taken as well for Happy. So Happy, so not going to be able to put out any fishing ships just yet, but he's going to be able to gather off the trees over here and gather off the hunt. Meanwhile, Crimson is forcing out the early dock, has skipped taking his hunt at this stage because I don't think he's really got one except for a really aggressive one. Oh no, he's got this safe one down here on the bottom side, but he's going to go for the early fishing ship. Verhuver going for an early barracks, going to try and punish all this play, all this greed. And so is his teammate. System is following up with the barracks as well, so looks like they're both going to try and apply some pressure. They actually scouted, so if we go, whoops, I'll go. So the right side team is actually unaware of what's going on the waterline, but they haven't scouted barracks as yet, so that would mean that their opponents are probably only doing one thing on this map, and that's taking a dock somewhere. And naturally, if you haven't seen anything on your side of the map, it's probably going to be on your opponents, because if they took top side, all you got to do is scout it, and it's really, really hard for them to defend. Although in saying that, you also need to, have continual speed production, but both players on the right-hand side of the map are looking at doing that. They haven't they haven't just forced out the barracks and then taken water, completely skipped spears or anything like that. So looks like they will be able to punish any form of greed outside of this left-hand segment for a little bit. And Verhuver is just getting up to his fourth spear in production now actually. And System's sending his across one by one. Verhuver scout there, System scout here. Doing a good job at making sure this is unscouted at this stage, but the first spear is going to be scouted. Although Happy hasn't actually seen it just yet, I don't think. Although he possibly has. So now the first spear from System coming in on Happy. His barracks now being thrown up too. So he's going to have to be careful with these villagers, and he's going to have to pull them back now. Verhuver has a nice spear count of his own at this stage. So Happy having to force his villagers back, force out an early barracks, and he would have liked to, and try and get on this berries instead of being able to sit on the hunt. And he, at this stage, hasn't actually got any fishing ships. Crimson, on the other hand, is also up to 3. Verhuver and System have yet to take theirs. So System sniping this hunt could be quite crucial because it really gives them a lot of pressure over their opponents. Crimson is responding with the barracks now. And System, he's got a really good spear number still. Verhuver also, he's up to 6 spears, so Verhuver's trying to take the topside dock, but it's been scouted by Crimson, so like I said, it's always really hard to try and take that dock first. It's much easier to just try and take your own back dock. So, right now, oh, this is a really nice pick-off from System onto Happy. Happy losing a couple of workers now. He's going to have to try and pull all of them back just as his first fishing ship pops out. So, he's going to have to try and defend this here. System aging up behind this. He's got the fastest H2 timing. Verhuver trying to defend now his dock against Happy's. So it looks like there's a bit of a dock race going on. Crimson throwing down his dock on the far side. So Verhuver actually see that? Verhuver can see the dock. Meanwhile, back at home, all these villagers are still rallied back towards the dock, so that's going to really be painful for him. Verhuver actually managing to defend his dock now from Happy, so Happy largely being bullied out of the game, unfortunately. And Verhuver now scouting Crimson's dock, going to pick the villager, going to be able to try and deny the dock. Now, the last of the spearmen of Systems in Happy's base is going to fall. So the dock up at the top side, yep, being punished, but Crimson... Oh, he's actually building a trireme on the wrong dock. Oh, it's going to be real unfortunate unless he's really opting to try and defend his and his opponents at this stage, because he might have been trying to force that out of the topside dock. So the topside dock's actually going to fall. And Crimson, oh, yep, cancelling the trireme. So he probably did opt for that on the top side, realising at the last second and cancelling. And this is a nice force to Crimson, although there are some axemen here, so he's actually just going to run past. Neither player actually scouts out that possible engagement. And if they had have, Crimson probably would have been on the back foot there, because there were a couple of axemen of Happy's mixed in, of SystemGlitch's mixed in here. He's got 4 axemen, 2 spearmen, so Happy, and meanwhile only has 4 spearmen on defense. And Crimson now actually has a couple of hypers going straight for this storehouse, I believe. Yeah, so he's thought, well, by now they're going to have taken the storehouse. So he's going to get this villager pick. And up here on the top side, there is an engagement here from System. So Happy has enough spears to defend, I think, but he's probably going to need to be careful and manage to, do what he's doing, rallying onto individual axemen first to kill them, not worrying about the spearmen because they don't really do a lot of damage. We're back on this side of the map. Verhuver actually, after having denied that storehouse, taking out the forward one, denying a bit of vision. Crimson doing that to Verhuver, and Verhuver trying to solidify on this northern side, taking the dock on his side from the south. And meanwhile, System has also done that. And System is still fighting here with Happy. He's got enough axemen here. I think they're just individually coming across the map one by one. And they're actually managing to chew through the spearmen now, so Happy, this army of spearmen, they might be a little bit more affordable at the moment, but he's having to transition into getting some more axemen. And this watch post of Systems is probably going to get picked off now. We ever played things here. So this north side dock once again might be under a bit of pressure. But down here on the south side, another storehouse denial. So Crimson weaving in and out of the north side of Verhuver's base, sniping this this storehouse over and over, really forcing System to actually have to bring some units in the middle to try and help Verhuver. He was a little bit behind on army size, but I think he seemed to have caught up now, considering he's got the top dock as well as the rear side dock, so he's probably about a fishing boat or 2 up by now. And System actually getting a couple of units caught out there from Crimson's force, who's now mixed in some archers, so this is going to prove to be really perilous for pretty much everyone else right now, until some slingers from the Egyptian player, so from System, from Team 2. So Crimson has a really menacing force right now. But Verhuver is in a really nice spot economically with the double water. And Happy's just rallying up enough units here just to make sure his own base is protected before he can try and rally in. And it looks like System's actually walling up quite early, so we could have this one hunker down quite a bit into a longer game. Unless one of these teams can really put some heavy pressure up the middle on one another soon. So right now Crimson they got a couple of Toxotes. Unfortunately rallied away from the rest of the army, and they're going to get a couple of kills themselves, but yeah, he's going to trade 3 Toxotes for an Axeman, so that's not really healthy for him. But he's going to pick off another Axeman for free as well. And on the bottom side, a little bit of vision of their opponents. I believe it is walled up now, so another fight going on now. Hoover's forces just massing up, and Crimson's might have taken enough of beating that unless Happy's joined in soon now, he might be forced to have to retreat from here. But he is forcing System back at the time being. Verhuver is just getting a scout on his opponents. He's just doubling up on walls on the bottom side just to make sure, but he might be responding a little bit too late here because System's going to lose a couple of workers now, so things are really going to be evened up economically between him and Happy. He's going to lose 3 workers in total there. Oh no, that one just makes it out. And he's really going to get overwhelmed here. There's a trade cart actually being picked off, and that means this is going to get scouted out. So Happy's forces still just massing up, and so are Verhuver's. It seems to really just be a 1-to-1 engagement at the moment. These forces of Crimson's, these bows, sort of not sure what they're going to do. And is he going to pick... Oh, he's actually pulling everything back out now. Marking back on the edge of the base. Some more warming up going up around the map. And more units being picked off here. Crimson doing a nice job of weaving in and out of System's base, but Verhuver is actually really massing up a nice force here, taking a big economic lead. He's got that water. He's just got to get enough gold and enough wood to actually pump out all the units that he wants. But he seems to be doing a good job of that. And Crimson's force is really hurt right now. He doesn't want to take this fight. He really doesn't want to take this fight. He's at a big unit disadvantage. He's at a big health disadvantage on those units. So right now Verhuver, just on his own doorstep, has got a big defender's advantage. But he's overstepped a little bit, losing a couple of units he probably shouldn't have. But he's taking a lot of good kills now, as his Greek opponent is also in retreat, and we get another couple of good volleys, picking off another Toxotes, getting another one quite low. And on the top side, Happysmurf is rallying to try and deal a bit of damage to this wall, but actually backing off because he realizes that there's a lot of pressure up the middle now, and his opponents are free to try and intercept him now because Crimson's forces have largely been chipped away at. So Happy's just sort of rallying back, figuring out what's going on at the water. Notices there's still the warship there, so trying to take the market's going to be a little bit difficult at this time. So everyone's just sort of massing up their forces at this stage, but it looks like Happy is thinking about going in. Actually walling up himself as well. So now it looks like everyone's walled up their portion of the map with only the middle of both sides being exposed. There's some Saris coming in for Crimson. Age 3 being queued up for Verhuver now, so he's actually pulled a little bit ahead economically. He's up to 72 villages. Crimson's also on 73, and Happy's only on 36. 60 for System, so economically it looks like Verhuver and System are actually in a little bit of a comfortable position. Crimson's only got a worker lead by 1. A little bit down on army size, and it looks like Happy's actually sniping one of System's little expansions here, but looks like Happy's forces aren't really going to be enough to fight this, I don't think. It looks like System's got enough to really force him back here now, and Verhuver is thinking about heading out. Crimson's actually got this here, and it's sort of locking up another 75 wood, which is always a bugger. So right now, System forcing Happy back. We've really secured that top side well. There's team on the right now. They've got a nice score lead, and Happy and Crimson are sort of struggling to hold on right now. Happy doesn't really have a big force. He's getting a fortress on the top side just to make sure that he's going to be ready for this big force of systems coming marching in now. And Verhuver is opting to push forward into Crimson at the same time, so Crimson in turn has moved forward as well. He knows his opponent. He's going to be looking at moving out. He does have a nice Sari count, so he can, yeah, he's going to rally them straight out and around. So Verhuver is going to have to rally his Toxotes back now. Oops. And meanwhile, on the top side there is an engagement as well, so Crimson actually making light work of Verhuver's front line, and the Toxotes, yeah, pretty much stacked right on top of each other. The Saris, yeah, proving just a bit too much, and the Toxotes, yeah, really chipped away the front line. So these Saris, if they're going to get pulled back just in time. Crimson has managed to gain a slight upper hand in this fight. He's managed to really split his opponent's forces up in that last engagement, putting up a forward fortress. Meanwhile, over here on the top side, Happy, yeah, is now his wall's fallen down, his fortress is down. He doesn't really have any forward units, and it looks like Happy really being pushed into heavily right now from System. Over here in the mid-map, there is still another big engagement going on. These two are just having a big battle of the Titans right now, and Happy, he's just said, oh, he's down. He's lost his fortress. He's just back down into producing, but he doesn't actually have any forward military here, so System is really pushing into his base right now. He's going to be able to snipe all the units as they come out, slowly chip away at those production facilities. Crimson is really managing to push Verhuver off this gold mine now, so Verhuver's going to have to struggle to try and get gold from the southern side of the map now. But Verhuver has transitioned to the Peltas, so Verhuver with a really nice transition. Peltas, Hoplite, to be able to try and tank and counter his opponent's composition here, but Crimson has actually marched right on top of Verhuver here. I think this is actually going to be really good for Verhuver right now. And while this is going on, System's finishing up upgrades as he's pushing right into Happy's base, so all of Crimson's forces are going to get picked off right now. That was a bit of a micro mistake for him. Verhuver really chipping away at him with that nice counter force there, and now System is raiding the hell out of Happy's base. He's destroyed one of the barracks. Units that are popping out are still being destroyed as soon as they come out. All the spearmen, longswordsmen, and the slingers, and forces of the Hoovers are just about ready to move out as Crimson is forced to try and save Happy now. So the Hoover's death march is slowly heading across. The war drums are beating, boom, 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 and there's fortress is going up, barracks is going up, but it's going to be a bit too little, too late. I don't think Crimson's actually got enough to defend here. He's going to lose a lot of villages now. There's about 8 villages there. They're going to fall right now. Happy is slowly being saved right now. Crimson does have enough to try and hold off against System, but in the meanwhile, on the front, he's really being punished for it. The System, yeah, GG. The Hoover now rallying up. Yep, and GG. Alright, I'll have a look at the scores actually. So Verhuver, really impressive macro game there. Crimson did a wonderful job at taking some fights in the mid-map there. But I think Verhuver just played it really smart, sort of relying on the fact that System was able to ultimately win his tussle with Happy, and the fact that they'd won the topside water. They had this nice early market line from System, so it's just a really nice position for the guys. Verhuver also getting early markets. I don't actually know. Oh, we've got some here for Crimson. Happy only on one market at this stage, so GG guys. In terms of villager production, I think if Happy hadn't have had that big cut there, he probably wouldn't have been terribly far behind. But ultimately, yeah, that, and I think the fact that he sort of stuck with the spears a little bit too long, is sort of what hurt him a lot against System, and allowed System to really assist in putting in sort of a 2v1 situation against Crimson. Not to say that Happy didn't seek to do any help, because he did a little bit of raiding around the map as well. So it's a good game. Well played, guys.